That belongs in a museum.
Lead and forcing Pokrovac into a turn where he didn't have a strong play really set him back, and now Bunny Hopper is the one who sees the initiative.
Yeah, I think as well, although it was a relatively safe turn for him to have a bad turn with that low threat, the Zoo managed to snowball after that as well and keep the pressure on. So, you know, the Priest suddenly becomes on the back foot, right?
Yep, and we see the Light Bomb into the Wild Pyromancer plus Light of the Arrow to leave just an Imp on the other side.
Yeah, it's an excellent quasi-board clear, I guess, from Pokrovac here, leaving just the 1/1 Imp in play, but that is still 11 potential damage.
Lethal.
Yeah, 11 potential damage coming out from Bunny Hopper, and now Dr. Boom is drawn after both Light Bombs have been used.
But Dr. Entomb, it'll be fine.
Wow. Yeah, I mean...
He will be able to protect those boom bombs.
Well, I really like this sort of dynamic here because, yeah, you naturally just edge towards the Pyro, but then you're like, how much healing can he do next turn?
Right.
Because that thing's going to start stacking up in damage, and he does actually value that above the Pyro, which is actually going to help Pokrovac, I believe, because if he does go for the Entomb, he can prop the Boombots now, and then he has things like, he's gone into Flash Heal and another Light of the Narrow to just boost himself back up.
And here, Pokrovac must sort of kind of keep in mind the damage potential Bunny Hopper might have here. You don't really expect that much burst from Zoo, but picking up that Soulfire from the Dark Peddler is you know, pretty huge here. Oh, but there's just a bunch of healing.
Sure. I think it's definitely possible for you to get a read on that, maybe like Power Overwhelming or Soulfire at this point, because it was a Dark Peddler card. It's not been played since it was taken, so you can get the read that that's 4 damage that you have to play around. Can you get the read on the other card being Leroy? Has anything really given that away at this point? I don't think so.
You can. I think Light of the Arrow here is totally reasonable, if only because it generates the Light Warden that is actually very threatening at this point with how much he has in hand.
I was wondering whether Pokrovac was thinking, what about next turn if I just, how can I Flash Shield, well, Light of the Narrow and Hero Power? That's like 15, right?
It would be, yeah. Well, if there's a Power Overwhelming, this is potentially 11.
That's 11,
If he finds, well, Power Overwhelming is still...
That's Gormok. That's not going to do it. He's going to be short, and having tapped, this is now lethal from the Priest.
The Alkai Soul Priest plus
the Burst Priest. Oh my god.
Without Mind Blast as well. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy stuff. All 4 burst healing cards are in this list, which is not something that I've seen. You know, I was surprised when the list was pushed up to 3. Like, I'd seen like 2 Flash Heals, 2 Light of the Narus, but then when it became 2 and 1, popularized by Zetalot mostly, I believe, I was very surprised that was a list that worked. But the choice of all 4 is going to pay out really big here from Pokrovac.
Look at him, he's just like, I know what to do.
And
Bunny Hopper is going to have no idea what hit him right now.
Oh, there's the reaction.
The furrow of his brow.
Yeah, is there like, okay, you got me. Oh my god. What a crazy game.
Wow. that's quite the ending to this matchup.
Yeah,
that's quite the end of the series.
Crazy stuff.
15 points of burst damage.
Bunny Hopper sat the whole game, or the last few turns at least, with that burst damage of his own built up in his hand, and I'm sure all he was thinking was, you know, can I get enough turns? Can I drag this out? Can I get that power overwhelming that I need? Get a last 2 points of chip damage in. I'm sure there was nowhere in his mind that was just like, wait, if I tap here, my opponent's just going to burst me